Good evening and welcome to Cat's Cauldron. Thank you for returning to our show. We appreciate all our listeners and all our contributors. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about going back in time. This weekend I was going through some of my dad's things. And anyone who has lost a loved one, you know how difficult it is to go through their things and have to deal with the memories and what do you keep and what don't you keep. Well, I kept everything. So everything was just boxed up and has been there for years, and periodically I'll go in and I'll do what I can to go through it. But of course, you know, when you really care about someone, sometimes emotions do take in consideration. But anyway, long story short, I found some of his writings and some of his articles that he kept. And my dad was notorious for reading Reader's Digest. I came across an article that I thought was extremely interesting, and it's called Anatomy of an Epidemic. So don't get me wrong. Yes, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Hopefully it'll be an endemic soon for everyone's sake. But I just thought that this story was very interesting and just wanted to share it with you. This was a story that was published in 1991 in Reader's Digest about cases that occurred in 1989. So here we go. Bonnie Bishop, a petite athletic woman of 39, was vacationing at Lake Powell, Utah in August of 1989 when she noticed her face was sore to the touch. Even putting on her sunglasses hurt. Within weeks of her return home to Santa Fe, New Mexico, the pain spread down her neck and through her body. Bishop is a single mother of a 6-year-old boy, soon found the slightest movement agonizing. She visited doctor after doctor, complaining of fatigue, muscle pain, rashes, and mouth sores. None could find the cause. Finally, in early October, one doctor told her she might have cancer and referred her to an oncologist, Dr. Bruce Greenfield. A few days later, Greenfield watched his new patient shuffle weakly into the examination room. Her abdomen was distended by a swollen liver. Her face was tight with pain. Glancing at her chart, Greenfield noted an elevation in white blood cells called eosinophils. A higher level of these cells is produced in response to certain infections, allergic reactions, and malignancies. Tests detected none of these conditions, yet Bishop's body obviously was breaking down. "They think I'm dying," she said. The average doctor might see one case of eosinophilia in a lifetime, so Greenfield knew he needed help. After Bishop left, he telephoned the medical library at St. Vincent Hospital in Santa Fe, searching for articles on the condition. One author's name kept reoccurring, Dr. Gerald Gleach of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. The following morning, Greenfield had Bishop check into the hospital for tests. She could barely walk. Then he called the Mayo Clinic. Gleach, a research immunologist, had been studying eosinophilia for over 20 years. The only treatment, he told Greenfield, was high doses of steroids to relieve the inflammation and pain. Unfortunately, Gleach added, a patient as sick as Bishop could die within months. As Bishop lay there in her hospital bed, the sight of her own body terrified her. Bishop's arms and legs had filled with fluid, and her breathing was labored. When she tried to sit up, she slumped like a rag doll because her back muscles were so weak. Steroids offered little relief. Of most concern to Bishop was the doctors obviously feared for her life. They think I'm dying, she reflected, but I can't. I don't want to leave my son. That same October in Los Alamos, New Mexico, Kathy Lorio, a 44-year-old mother of 4, developed symptoms of asthma. An avid runner, she began having burning leg pains that migrated up her body. Blood tests showed an alarming high concentration of eosinophilia. Suspecting a disease of the connective tissue, Lorio's physician, Dr. Philip Hertzman, sent her to a Santa Fe rheumatologist, James Mayer, on October 26th. In his examination, Dr. Mayer could find no physical cause for Lorio's excruciating pain, but he was startled to notice the similarities of her symptoms and of those of another woman, now so weak she had to be fed intravenously. Her name was Bonnie Bishop. Are you all